Pheroze Nowrojee's book, A Kenyan Journey, is firstly a family story and tells of a family's journey from India to Kenya under British colonial rule. But it places this story in much broader political context. It is much more than a simple account of events. It explores how we change the places we travel to and how the places we travel to change us. What makes it so powerful and such an important contribution to narratives of Kenyan history is that it tells us about a part of this history that has never received enough attention.
The book is a complex book, and in trying to do this, there are different voices in the book. There is a personal voice, there is a political voice, there is also the voice of the way in which we express it. In other words, is this writing something that impacts upon other people? It's not simply a question of saying, I came here and lions jumped at me, or I was at independence in this way, or at the attempted coup in that way. It is a question of our saying, what does that mean? What do these things mean to the country? What would have happened if the coup had succeeded? Was the attempted coup a good thing, a bad thing for the country? We went from the attempted coup into a very, very oppressive next 20 years, from 82 to 92 to 2002. Should the coup have succeeded? Would there have been a better government if the coup had succeeded? And so these are questions which are missing from our debates. Our public debates are more about setting out a string of facts instead of asking why the result took place, or what would have happened otherwise, and so on. And so these are the sort of questions that the book brought out.
A lawyer, a journalist, and now an author, Pheroze Nowrojee has mastered the art of communication in so many different ways.
I got to know more about him, about cases he had done in the past, about his courage before the judges. And I remember one time he was charged with contempt of court out of representing unpopular clients. And we were there in court, sitting as the application was going on, argued by, if I remember correctly, the late Achru and others. And he really was not only our mentor, but he is one person whose patriotism you cannot doubt, whose Kenyanness you cannot doubt, identifying himself totally with the country and with all just causes that happen in this country. That's the Pheroze I know.
Pheroze is an intellectual comrade. I think Pheroze communicates his thoughts and his mind very clearly, both in the spoken word and in the written word. And for many years, Pheroze has been an inspiration to many people, including myself. So if you ask me who is Pheroze to me, Pheroze is all those things rolled into one, a great friend.
I'm really happy and delighted to be here today, to participate in this event, to see my friend, and I think a person that I hold in very high esteem, but also to see that finally we have his writings, right? And we have a book that Pheroze has penned. So I think that's just truly amazing. But we've been waiting for a long time. So Pheroze, write more books.
It's important to be able to read books like this, but it's also important to maintain the community around your history. And what this does, events like this, is it can inspire others to also lay down their parts of that history. So this is Pheroze's part of the history, but there are so many other luminaries, so many other activists, so many other people who are critical to Kenya's future and to its present who are here tonight. that can look at an event like this and say, actually, it's time for me to write.
I think it's terribly important that we have these testimonies of history, these stories of how families like Pheroze's have been what they are and how they have brought Kenya to what it is today.
Nowrojee is one of the most prominent human rights activists in Kenya. An Indian Parsi by descent, long a Kenyan citizen, Nowrojee is one of very few members of the Asian community to actively take up the cause of human rights. Many younger Kenyan attorneys cite him as an important mentor in their own legal work on human rights cases. Pheroze is a quiet man, but it is an intense quiet that gives so much.
I hope that the book is seen as a complex statement and not as simply some recollections. Whether it's important or not is for others to say. But I would say that it should be treated as a complex statement, and that it is important that these parts of it are questioned, that people should be agreeing or disagreeing or condemning if they consider it needs it, so that our public discourse about our country becomes more serious than the sort of level that unfortunately we do not see from the politicians enough.
And his adoring public are certainly excited about what Pheroze is bringing to the coffee table.